Hi everybody, today I'm going to take you through 5 tips for purchasing crystals. Now when you're a crystal beginner, it can be a little bit confusing where to shop for crystals. Do we buy online? Do we buy in person? What crystal's going to help me with this situation? There's so much information out there. So I'd like to strip all of that back and make this as clear and simple for you based on my very, very long crystal healing career and being the personal and proud owner of probably over 2,000 crystals. So let's start, shall we? Hey beautiful soul, I'm Kate Mantello, the author of Rock On and the founder and CEO of Evolve Healing Institute, a global world-class training institute for crystal and energy healing practitioners. On my channel, you'll learn powerful and proven crystal and energy healing techniques that will take you far beyond any of the usual and generic information you'll find on Google or from a book. That's because I practice what I preach, and everything here comes from decades of personal and professional experience in my own healing room. If you like what you see here, then please subscribe to my channel and check out my website, evolvehealing.net, so you can find out how you can become an elite, world-class crystal or energy healing practitioner too. Enjoy the video. Tip number 1. Buy from a reputable seller or somebody you trust. Now there are lots of options out there for buying your crystals. You can buy them online through sites like eBay or Etsy or any other online shops. You can go to metaphysical stores. You can go to local markets. Often there are sellers there who have a crystal booth or stall. Sometimes if you're lucky, you'll even find somebody who mines and digs up their own crystals and sells them at markets. So there's lots of places where you can buy crystals from. Which is the best place? Well, this really comes down to reputation. If you're a beginner, I would not be buying crystals online. And the first and most important thing to consider when we're looking at online crystals is if it sounds too cheap to be true, then it's probably not. So there are a lot of crystal fakes out there. And if you're thinking that you're snagging a deal because you found tumbled turquoise stones for $1 a piece, the chances are that it's not genuine turquoise, because turquoise is very expensive nowadays. So I don't recommend purchasing online unless you're 100% sure that the seller is reputable. So that leaves the in-person choices. Where do we go? Metaphysical stores are fantastic. They tend to stock a great range of crystals. They tend to know their crystals well too, so you can be guaranteed that you're getting the authentic piece. But the downside to metaphysical stores is they ship their crystals in from everywhere around the world. So you're not always guaranteed of knowing exactly where it's come from and how ethically it's been sourced. This also goes for market stall holders who sell commercial crystals that they've imported themselves, and look, it's cheaper than buying at a metaphysical store because the overheads are going to be less, obviously. So if you're buying based around budget, then market stall holders are a really great option for purchasing crystals. But once again, if it's commercial, we don't know how ethically it's been sourced. My number 1 favorite way of buying crystals is to purchase them directly from local people who source the stones themselves and who obtain them locally, because this minimizes the environmental and ethical impact. Obviously, this is going to not be an option for a lot of people, so let's go back to the metaphysical stores and the market stall holders that are selling commercial stones. So this is a great way of buying the crystals. Make sure you ask a lot of questions. Make sure that the seller knows what the stones are, what to look for with fakes, and has some kind of connection to where the stones are being sourced as well, so you have a connection to the stone story. This leads on to tip number 2 when you're buying crystals, which is to consider the ethical and environmental impact that your crystal collection has. So I do own over 2,000 crystals, and I am aware of the environmental impact that the high global crystal demand is having. Crystals tend to be a byproduct of a larger mining operation, such as gold mining or copper mining, and as crystal demand grows globally, so too does the mining impact for stones like quartz and amethyst, etc. So let's try and be mindful of how we're sourcing our stones, where they're coming from, and what kind of impact that is having on the planet. This is why we come back to what I mentioned in the first tip, which is where possible, buy locally and buy from people who are actually digging the crystals up themselves without going through literally explosion type mining processes, which have a much bigger impact. There are some great people online on Etsy and Instagram who source all their own stones themselves and sell them, and they're beautiful, unique pieces that you can keep and treasure, knowing that you're having a minimal environmental impact. Tip number 3 is don't buy your crystals just because a book says that you need that stone. So a great example of this one might be that you really want to attract a new career opportunity. So you might want to go for green aventurine. Here's a piece. A green aventurine, because that's a really great stone for good luck and opportunities and new beginnings. And the book tells you that. But what is the underlying reason why you're struggling to find a job, or what would be a more beneficial growth experience for you to have in order to put you in the top position when you go for job applications or career, when you want to make a career change? Perhaps what would be more beneficial to you would be to work on increasing your self-worth, your self-confidence, and that might put you in a better position to get that dream job or dream career you've been desiring. In which case, a stone like citrine would be a much better option for you to attract that dream career opportunity, even though citrine isn't necessarily a stone for good luck and good fortune and opportunity. Do you see what I'm saying here? So this is why trusting your intuition and going into a store without a preconceived idea about what stone you want to buy because a book said that it's going to be good for this, this is where it's going to be more beneficial for you. So rather than going with the intention to buy this particular stone because I want to have this particular outcome, go into the store with all expectations set aside, simply with the intention of, I want to attract a new and thriving career. Please guide me to the stone that is best going to help me achieve this goal. And then you leave your options open there. So you might be guided towards a heart healing stone, a confidence boosting stone, you don't know, but you will be guided towards a stone that is going to be in your best benefit rather than something you think you should be getting. Tip number 4, and I'm really passionate about this one, is don't shop for perfection. We are imperfect beings, and when we shop for a stone that is exactly cut perfectly, has no flaws, no chips, we're really not shopping for something that tells a true energetic story. Crystal healing is so much more than just getting a rose quartz because it's good for the heart chakra, or getting a blue sodalite stone because it's for the throat chakra. It's about the story that the crystal tells. It's about the energy it's absorbed throughout its thousands of years of creation. We want the chips, we want the cracks, we want the flaws, because this is the energy that the stone holds, and it will help us to grow into a beautiful being with our chips, our flaws, our traumas. It teaches us how to transmute that and turn it into something beautiful and to heal. So I sell crystals online, and often we get people who purchase our crystals, and no matter how much we express that we sell natural stones in all their beauty, we still hear from people who say, oh, this has a mark on it, or it's imperfect, or it's got a chip on the side, and that's the point. It's supposed to, because it's natural, and we don't want to take away its beautiful trauma, because that's what helps us to overcome our trauma. So please don't shop for perfection unless you are looking for a specifically cut stone like a Vogel wand, for example, which needs to have precise dimensions to achieve a certain functionality. If you're just going to shop for crystal healing stones for your collection or to use on your body or with your clients, Please go in with an open mind and remember that perfection is not a true representation of nature or the healing journey. The healing journey is imperfect, it's knotty, it's difficult, it's challenging, it tells a story, but therein lies the beauty and therein lies the magic of healing and overcoming trauma. And finally, tip number 5 is wherever possible, hold your crystal before you take it home. If you live in a remote area that doesn't have any metaphysical stores and the only way you can obtain crystals is shopping online, then this doesn't apply to you. This applies to anybody who has got the ability to go in person and source their stones, because as someone who works with crystals at a very high level, there is something to be said for that physical connection. Even though energy transcends physicality, and this is something that I teach in some of my high-level courses, but initially when we're learning and when we're connecting with stones, it's really important to have that physical connection. We are physical beings, no matter how much we ascend and expand our consciousness, no matter how much yoga we do, how many enlightening books we read, we're still physicality, we're still made of flesh and bone. And so the way we interact with the world is a physical interaction as well as on other levels too. So we want to feel, we want to hold it, we want to breathe into it, we want to allow the crystal an opportunity to tell us its messages, to share its energy with us, because you might see a stone at a shop and think, oh, I love it, the shape, the color, it's beautiful, but you might pick it up and it just may not feel right. It might sit awkwardly in your hand, or something about it just doesn't quite gel. So do hold it, do sit with it, and you may be surprised, because sometimes a stone that looks gnarled and uninteresting and bland can actually just feel like the perfect fit for you. So let physical perfection be secondary to how the energy of the stone actually feels. Happy shopping for your crystals, and I look forward to connecting with you again in my next video. Bye everybody.